Okay, let's try this one here. We have 2x to the power 4. Okay, so we're going to test our possible factors here. We need 2 of them to break it into a quadratic, so I'm going to start with 1. That's always the easiest. So 2 minus 1 minus 14 minus 5 plus 6. Okay, that's not equal to 0, so we're just going to move on. Negative 1, we get 2 plus 1 minus 14 plus 5 plus 6. In this case, we do get 0. Okay, so we know we have one factor so far. So we actually have one of the solutions, x equals negative 1. Okay, so we have to, I'm just going to highlight that one so that makes sure that we know where that came from. Okay, and then we need to just find one more. Okay, so we're going to find one more. So let's try 2. Okay, 2 is a factor of 6, so we're going to try 2. And again, notice I'm not bothering trying the fractional roots, although they exist. We don't really want to find those first. Those are harder to find. So we're just going to plug in whole numbers. So here we're going to get 2 to the power 4 times 2 is 32 minus 8 minus 14 times 2. Well, 14 times 2, what's that going to give us? 56, I think it is. Okay, minus 10 plus 6. Okay, so that doesn't quite work. Although looking at this, these numbers look like, okay, so I'm going to just say not equal to 0. I think maybe negative 2 is going to work. So I get 32. This becomes negative 8, so plus 8. This is still going to be minus 56. That's going to end up being 5 times negative 2. Negative is plus 10 plus 6. So what do I get here? I get 40, 50, 56, and then minus 56. There's my other 0. Okay, so I have x plus 2 as my other 0. Okay, again, I'm just going to highlight that one just to make sure that we see that we got it from somewhere. And so now I've got broken this down into, I've got 2 linear factors, and I'm going to divide those 2 linear factors into here, and I can then work out the quadratic. And I know I'm going to get a remainder of 0 because they're divisible, so I can just layer this division. Okay, so oops, I just missed out there. Okay, so here we go. So I can just plug that in. Okay, so I'm going to start with the plus 1. So I get 2 minus 1 minus 14 minus 5 plus 6. Okay, so then I bring down the 2, subtract, multiply, subtract, okay, multiply, subtract, multiply, subtract. I get a remainder of 0. Again, if you're not getting a remainder of 0, you have to be very skeptical of some of the work you've done. So this time I'm going to do plus 2. So 2 subtract times 2 subtract times 2 subtract. So there's my quadratic factor. That's what I'm left with. So 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Okay, so then I want to break that into its linear factors. I want to break that into its linear factors here. Okay, so I've got 2 linear factors from that quadratic. That quadratic was 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Okay, so then I want to factor that. 2x squared. I've got 6x squared. So two numbers that multiply 6 and add to negative 7 are negative 6, negative 1. Okay, I've got common factor of 2 here. Here we've got a common factor of, looks like it's going to be negative 1. Okay, here we've got x, and then here I'm going to have negative 3. Okay, so my factors, my linear factors end up being x minus 3 and 2x minus 1. So there it is. I've got it all factored. Now, I forget what the question was asking. Was it asking me to graph? Was it asking me to solve? This one's asking me to solve. Okay, so I'm not going to graph it. I'm going to get my solutions and make sure that I am clear that my solution is to this question is x equals negative 1, negative 2, x equals 3, and positive 1/2. Okay, so these are the solutions to this equation.